Well, thanks so much for joining us this Wednesday morning. And we have a lot of things going on here at Foundations for Living. So I'm glad you're able to take some time out. I know you have a busy schedule as well. And we're so grateful that you would take a few moments to spend with us as we talk about a few hot topic buttons today, and ones that come up often here at Foundations for Living, ones that come up oftentimes at many warming centers and nonprofits that I thought I would address. One of the things that I was asked again this week, as we get random people coming through doing visitations, tours, all sorts of stuff. Somebody who lost their way in the thrift store and found themselves up in the front office and they asked for a tour. And that question is, what's with the road signs behind me? What are they doing on the wall? I like art. Okay, first of all, the wall you can't see behind you, behind the camera here, I have a big poster from IKEA that is like a rope walking bridge, and then over here my recent addition, my Salvador Dali prints that I really one of my favorite artists. But what's with the road construction signs behind me? It really points to the journey of life that we're on, and the reason I wanted to put those up on the wall is because it tells a story, that that we're all under construction right here. We're all under construction, that we're all we all need to get on a path, and which is why the one lane road ahead is there. And of course the cameras are weird. There's one way, and those of you from the Jesus movement hippie era, you'll know that symbol right there, one way. And that is because we believe there's only one way, and that's through Jesus Christ, that we can find hope and salvation and all of that to ultimately get on the ultimate road to recovery. So, so that's what those road signs are all about, and that's why they're up there. And quite honestly, aesthetically, it makes for a better backdrop for a podcast than just a plain green wall or gray wall. In my case, that wall's green, this one's gray, and it's a little more pleasing to the eyes to have some color and all of that. So, so let's talk about Warming Center. How's that going for Foundations for Living? It's been going pretty decent. One of the questions we get asked this time, this year specifically, is why there aren't so many people in here. And we've been running at about 4 people in our warming center. We have max capacity about 8. And we've had moments where we've pushed that limit, but we've had a lot of moments where we've been well under that limit. And last year we had quite a few days where it was a full house. Well, here's a couple things we can tell you about that. Number one, we can't force people to be here. They have to want to be here. It can be viewed 2 different ways, really. It can be viewed as, what do we need to do to get more people to know about this? Well, we're already doing quite a bit. We have business-sized cards and posters up in different county buildings to let people know, county offices that deal with homeless folks. And we promote it quite often. However, you can remember the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. This is only as effective as people want it to be. Okay. So one of the things we've been finding more and more in our city, and after talking with another nonprofit warming center from out of town yesterday, they came in for a visit. They're running across the same issues, is that when you come into a warming center, there's rules. Okay. No drugs, no alcohol, no violent behavior, these sort of things. And we Foundations and any other one that's out there will do random drug tests and all the things we need to do. Number one, because we care about the person. We want them to get sober. We want them to break free of addictions. We want to help them out. But it also helps protect the other people that are in here that are wanting to play it straight and keep going forward and not have to deal with that sort of stuff. So there's rules. You got to be in by 9, out by 7. Those are more of the city rules than our rules. So, there's that side of it. And then there is the side of the other rules are, if you're going to step out, you have to be in by 9 o'clock. And then but you have to check in between 7 and 8 to let us know you're going to be staying the night. Well, as with anything, when rules are enforced, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, how many of us would prefer to go 80 down Highway 10? But the rule is 65. So we dance around 70 miles per hour and go that route. But when there's rules enforced for a warming center, and there's other options for housing for homeless folks, sometimes in a lot of cases, they'll go for those options as well. People will sleep in their cars. They'll sleep on a friend's couch. They'll be invited over to a place where, hey, smoking, drinking, whatever, it's all on the table. You can do whatever you want. And so we've been finding more and more people are doing that this year, finding shelter in, well, to be honest with you, not so wholesome places. And when it comes to their car, that's a whole different thing. That means they don't have any place to go, and they're not willing to come in here to abide by the rules, so they'd prefer to stay in their car, which is difficult because cars are poorly insulated, and it doesn't keep you very warm. So that is the reasoning, the rationale as to why our numbers are down. It's not just a hypothetical situation. Is not something that we're just guessing at. We know. and we know because people have told us, and some of the folks that have come to stay with us have told us they can go there or there or there, whatever. And so that really isn't the ideal. So we stay open. We're open till April 30th, and really want to help people out. One of the other things that they have to do, the folks that stay here, is they have to attend courses. And I think it's human nature that when you're told you have to do something, it's something that we sometimes buck. But all the courses that we offer here at Foundations for Living, or courses or things that they can do outside of Foundations, like AA or attend a church service or things like that, it's not something necessarily high on their priority list. And because it's a rule, they end up moving on, going elsewhere. So it really is one of those things. We advertise as much as we can that we're here. Our reputation precedes us, knowing that for multiple years now we've been doing this, and so the community knows we're here. The police department, sheriff's department, second floor courthouse, they all know we're here, and they do pass along the information. But again, the person has to want to be here and abide by the rules, and when they don't, well, they end up finding some not so wholesome situations to be in. So I do want to mention that if you're watching, be sure to like the post, and feel free to comment. I'll answer your questions on here on Facebook, and be happy to point you in the right direction. Or maybe you just have a simple question you want answered about Foundations for Living or whatever. We'll be happy to address that. It'll show up on my screen, and I can give you a shout out and answer any questions you might have. As we're moving forward with the Middleton House, and things have been progressing very nicely this week in the way of funding, we have, I want to give you an update that, again, all of our plans have been approved by City Council. So we are moving forward, and we're doing it the right way, where we are approved by the city. But if you've ever built or been a part of a process like that, so you get approval, okay, and we have the green light to go ahead with it. And let's just be honest here, okay? When you drive by 1310 Royalton Street, that's where our Middleton House is. It's kind of a dive. I mean, it really is, and we're well aware of that. We are very well aware of that. And so we got the City Council approval. Now we're trying to line up a contractor. So and we're making good headway there. One of our board members, who is a contractor himself and semi-retired, he's working on getting a company in to run with the project. So once that group is approved, once we find that contractor, then we start pulling permits. Permits for what? I thought the city approved you already. They did. But in order to do the work we want to do, now we need a permit for siding. We need a permit for deconstruction inside. And let me just tell you, if you've ever been in that building, because it used to be called Hair of the Dog, okay, a dog grooming place. Before that, it was the Pregnancy Information Center for Waupaca. I was on the board there. it was decent inside, but it's really gone downhill. So our plan is to completely gut it down to the studs, re-insulate, re-drywall, all of that. So we need permits for that. We're going to be doing electrical work and gas work. We need permits for that. On and on it goes. So we're doing this very methodically. We're going to do it as debt free as possible. We've had some different grants coming in for this, different independent gifts coming in, which have been all really, really good. So that's where that's at. But a good question that came up, because we're going to test pilot a women's lodging house program. Because the downstairs will use the kitchen, we'll use the main meeting room for conferences, for classes, for resource center. The front office area will find somebody that'll be in there for as our on staff person there during the day. But the question is, what are we going to allow there? Are we allowing women or women and children? And I guess the answer might be yes. Okay. Here's the deal. Here's what we're looking at. It's going to be for women. All right. So if a woman comes in and she's homeless and she needs a place to go, or in a very unhealthy relationship where there's abuse and other things going on, we'll allow them there. If there's a child involved, we're open to that as well, because the mom will be there, and we're going to have overnight staff and, again, day staff as well. But with any warming center, this isn't exclusive to Foundations for Living. This isn't exclusive to the Middleton House, and really every place deals with this. We deal with registered sex offenders. And so just like our own place here, over the years, we've had registered offenders. They're welcome here. They are. We treat them the same as we treat anybody, and want to help them find recovery and get them back on their feet again, find housing, of those situations and those matters. However, because of stipulation, to protect kids and also to protect the offender, we wouldn't have kids around. So if the women's program, when it gets off the ground, if we have women there and there's no registered offenders, then a mother and her child could come and stay there. Okay, but we're going to be working through all of the stipulations there, because if a registered offender comes in, then we can't have kids on the premise. That's no different than how this place has been operating for years. Okay, so if we have a registered offender in the warming shelter here with the men, then there's no children involved allowed to be here. Number one, protect children, but number two, it's to protect them as well, because we don't want to bring them into a situation where there's kids, word gets out, and the city comes out, and that relapses what they're going through in the judicial system that they're dealing with. So we really want to be sympathetic towards both sides, and really want to be able to help out. And if that time would come where we have a mother and a child and an offender coming in, then we would make arrangements for other housing provisions. So that really is one of the key questions we've been dealing with lately, is how are we going to cross that line? And so we're already there. We've already thought about it. We've already have begun working on putting together our policy and procedure manual for the Middleton House. So, but we do welcome questions. We do welcome your input, and want you to know that we value that, because yeah, we have a fantastic staff here and a good, awesome board and a good group of volunteers, but one more voice always helps. One more voice always, it's just that one person, one person to see the change. I think of the time my brother and sister-in-law were getting married, and they had their invitations printed. There was a big mistake. They had their invitations printed again. There was another mistake. Then they got the perfect one. They got the invitation they were going to send out, and they were nice. But she goes, Bob, what do you think of this? Because I like graphic design. I like to mess around with graphic design. And I'm looking at him like, they spelt your name wrong. It was just like plain as day. Okay, they dropped the H. And so I pointed it out to them. And that's how we look at you, is that, we make sure all of our I's are dotted, T's are crossed. But it does help to have one more person just give us some input, give us your thoughts on it, because we truly do value your opinions. So those are the things that we deal with at Foundations. Again, Warming center, we know the numbers are down, but we can't force people to be here. And we have found that people are rather staying in their homes or at a friend's house or a government funded project where it's kind of a free for all, even though it isn't, or in their car, which is a really sad state. And so I'm going to talk more about that next week regarding cars and things like that. I'll hit on the last thing. Why we have seen numbers down. And this was stems from an interesting conversation I had yesterday from a place very similar to ours in a neighboring big city. We've seen people that are truly in need, truly are in need. They're homeless. They need to find a job. They need to get back on their feet again, find a home. And we invite them in. But it's usually sometimes it's met with the question, do you accept pets as well? And outside of it being a licensed, approved service animal, we don't accept them in here. We don't accept pets in here. And as any other place, unless it's a licensed service dog, okay, then we understand. And so it comes down to some difficult decisions for this person. Number one, do I value my health and warmth or over my dog or cat, or do I make a different decision? This was brought to light a while ago with a situation regarding a person and a kid and all of that and a dog at a different location. And, sadly, a lot of people will choose the animal, and I get it. I totally get it. It's dogs and cats, and heck, we even have at our house, we have parakeets and a gerbil. Okay. Hamster, to be a dwarf hamster, to be correct. And, more so cats and dogs, though, they become like family. They are family. I mean, it's one of those things that you've had them for a long time. But there's a lot of moments where someone will value that over their own over their own health and warmth and all of that. So they make the decision not to come into the warming center. We don't know what they do. We don't know what they're up to after that decision is made, but we can't force them. We can try to reason with them saying, there are humane societies. I've never looked into the Wapaka one, but there are places that will board an animal for free while a person is homeless, trying to get back on their feet again. And when they do get a job and get an apartment, they'll release the animal back to them. That's a fantastic program for any place that works with animals to have in place, because it really comes down to the whole idea that healthy mind means a healthy home, and we want people to be able to experience that. So those are the big three why warming center season's down this year. Again, it's not hypothetical. It's not us guessing. It's factual. It really is. And we've heard it from other places. We've heard it told straight to our face. I'm going to stay here. There's no rules. I'm going to not come in because I have a cat, whatever the case may be. But rest assured, we are here for anybody that wants to be here, anybody that needs the help. We this year has been fantastic. We have David Mahan, who helps with our overnight chaperone. We have a slew of people that come in to help with the intake hosting. That's from 6:30 till 9:30. And it really makes this whole program work very, very well. And again, if you want to help out at any point here at Foundations for Living, just go to our website, fflwapaka.org. It's newly remodeled. It's bright. It's vibrant and super easy to navigate. We tried, I designed it. We tried to put the forums in the website, and that works, but it's clumsy. The pages load really slowly, which causes people to hit the refresh button, hoping that it's going to speed up. But with that many plugins in a website, it's easier just to have a button there saying, okay, this is it, click, and it takes you to the actual web page. So it's super easy to navigate, but if you want to volunteer, please do so. We would always use your help, always welcome you in here, whether it's in the thrift store, the warming center, front office. It's not going to be too much longer till we're going to need people over at Middleton House volunteering as well. And we would love for you to do that. If you're homeless, please visit our website as well if you can, or stop in for a visit. Honestly, we have bed space for you. We want to help you out. Go to our website and go to the warming center and click on about our program. There's a form you can fill out Jill will get back in touch with you right away. If you need food, there is absolutely no reason to be hungry right now. There isn't. We've hooked up with a fantastic organization where in 1 hour and 37 minutes, I'll be going to pick up a ton of food. And I do this every Thursday. I've worked out a partnership with this organization, and I can tell you right now, probably in our freezer right now, we probably have close to 50 or 60 pizzas. We have canned goods, we have vegetables, we have fruits, we have rice, we have Hamburger Helper, we have easy cook microwave meals for you that are not well versed in the culinary arts. We have TV dinners, and so it's really something that we like to provide for you. We just upgraded our freezer to a giant. It's taller than me, and I'm 6'3", and we have a lot of food. So again, no reason that you should be hungry right now. Just stop in. We'll have you fill out a form because we have to. Okay, it's one of those things that government asks us that we track all the donations that come in and all of them that go out. It's not that anybody follows up or does anything with it. It's just so that they can know that we're keeping it straight here, and we'll load you up. I promise you that we'll load you up. We'll fill up a banana box full of food for you, and we're here anytime. So if you have any questions while you're watching this on the replay, feel free to comment on our Facebook page or YouTube. We'll get back to you with a response. And again, thank you for watching. Next week, this podcast will be back on Tuesday. You can listen to the audio replay as well through our website, fflwapaka.org. But truly, if you need help, come visit us. Here's our address. We're right here in Wapaka, 1421 Churchill Street. If you need to talk to somebody, we're available for that as well. So give us a call. We'll help you out. Judge-free zone. We're just here to show you the love of God in a tangible way as we live out Matthew 25:40. So I hope you have a fantastic day and that you'll join me next week as we talk about some more hot button issues. Have a great week.